If you can.
How's it going, Sam? It's been a hot second.
Cooper, is that you?
Okay. All right now. Doing go right into a bit.
I haven't talked to you for, I think, 72 years. It's been. How have you been?
And you've aged horribly. It's maybe been 72 hours.
Well, it's been a long time since our last audio shop episode,
That
anyway.
is true. It's been a hot second. Various life happenings.
Yeah. I moved. That honestly, there was there was 1 or 2 weeks in there. It hit my alarm for audio shop on Sunday went off. I'm like, shit, it's Sunday.
Yeah, moving is gonna take up a chunk of time.
But thankfully we're pretty much settled in at this point. We still got a little bit left, but we're almost there.
Which is always nice. You get a new place.
Yeah. Yeah, just trying to settle into a groove.
Yeah, it's always exciting, especially once you get over the move hump
Yes.
of
we've
like, oh, I can actually physically live here.
Yeah, we finally have a living room now. Enough boxes are out of there.
But yeah, so a good reason. A good
Yeah.
reason.
And then whatever reason you had last week.
Friends visiting,
Yeah.
spooky Halloween related activities.
What were we talking about before?
You're gonna have to be more specific.
Well, right before we started.
Internet,
Oh yeah. No, it was right after that.
fiber.
Fiber, and then we're talking about. Oh, now I remember. So, I was cooking some broccoli before this, right? I was roasting some
Hmm.
broccoli in the oven, as you do. Um, and I had put my UV gloves on, right? I had turned the timer off before, but I'm like, oh, I forgot to turn the oven off before I go to open it. So I go to push it, right? And
Hmm.
I'm pushing it. Nothing's happening. The buttons are fucking touch pads. They're not buttons.
Yeah.
So I couldn't turn the oven off. So I had to take the UV glove off to turn the oven off and then put the UV glove back on. And then, what was it? It was either a couple days ago or last week. I was baking some bread. This was Friday morning. And the little top bit of where you push the buttons was dirty. So I'm like, oh, I'll wipe it off. I run the washcloth across it, the oven turns off. Because it's touch enabled. I hate it so fucking much.
You
Not
should get the
everything.
voice activation subscription.
God, it's horrible. It's like why does it need to be touch? What was wrong with buttons?
I think that's the it's design philosophy that the people have moved towards in the last 10 years.
I very much dislike it. It is not a good feature. The fact that it has to be something conductive. But
Hey, just be happy you don't need to use an app on your phone to activate your
God,
oven.
I think there is Bluetooth compatibility with this fucking oven.
God, your pie is burning, and you have to go through two-factor authentication to get your oven open. Oh,
It's
come on.
it's a Samsung oven, and Samsung notoriously makes some pretty poor household appliances. Samsung also made the dishwasher, and all those buttons are also touchpads, and they put the power button right in the fucking middle of the door. So when I have the door open and I'm putting things in, my ankle keeps turning the thing on and off because it just needs to be touched. It doesn't need to be pressed. And then they didn't bother extending the rail track at the very bottom far enough. They needed to just like add an extra inch. So whenever you try and roll the thing out, there's periods of time where the wheels aren't connected, so it'll just jitter around and like fall into the gap, and you have to lift it back on, and it's just poorly designed.
But not enough to get a new one because they are expensive.
Yes, yeah, and it is new. It's just poorly designed new.
You think we would have solved this by now? I think we've had ovens for long enough that
For real.
we didn't have to add new problems to them.
Well, that's the way the world works, Cooper, these days. You have to continually add new things. You can't just sell the same thing forever. Have to make new things, have to make more money. The bar has to go up at all times. If the bar stays the same, that means you're failing. Doesn't matter if it's your $1 in profit, doesn't matter if you're $10 billion in profit. If that's the same or slightly less than last year, you're failing.
Yeah, slightly less than last year. Well, all this because an oven has a button.
Yep. Well, you want to get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Stop me ranting about
Capitalism.
appliances and capitalism. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Audio Shop podcast. I think this is the 5th one this year. At this point.
Oh, no, we have to be in the early teens.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah. Definitely haven't broken 20, I can tell you that. This week we are listening to Imaginal. How do you say that, Coop?
Imaginal Disk.
Imaginal Disk by
Magdalena Bay.
Thank you. God, and it's they like to make things that look like words that aren't quite words.
I'm pretty sure Magdalena Bay is like an actual location.
Oh, I believe it. But I can't say it.
All words are made up, Sam.
Yeah. But yeah, is this your one of your favorite bands, right?
Certainly one of my favorites that have been up and coming. I'll give a little history on them. Of Magdalena Bay being a alternative pop duo from Miami, Florida, who've released 2 albums, so fairly new on the circuit. I mean, they formed back, I guess 2016, but the first album didn't release until 2021, Mercurial World, which I quite liked. And then this album that we're reviewing, Imaginal Disk, is a fairly new one, released on August 23rd, 2024. It's only about 2 months old here at the time of recording. Like I said, they are a duo made up of Mika Tinenbaum and Matthew Lewin. They write and produce together. Mika does the vocals, and Matt does the production and instrumentation. So this is their 2nd album, and it was received with universal acclaim from critics. And when it came out, I was also quite a fan, so I was happy to get a chance to review it here on our show.
Yeah.
So, enough dilly-dallying here, Sam. You want to jump into it?
Sure, we can get into it with track number 1.
Track number 1, She Looked Like Me.
Apologize for the cat meowing. So it starts interestingly. It's a lot of sampling in the background, not quite music.
Yeah, it's kind of a glitchy pop production.
Yeah. And then the vocalist comes in, and she is very close to the microphone. But thankfully, she backs off as it gets louder.
Yeah, high attention on the vocals with Mika's kind of breathier delivery right at the beginning, before the percussion kind of kicks in seriously around the 45-second mark.
Yeah, Breathy's definitely putting it lightly. I do like it as it gets louder, but towards the middle there, it just gets a bit wall of soundy to me. It was just a bit too much going on.
Sam, you're a certified shoegaze boy.
You know me. Always
You
looking
love
at
your
them shoes.
You love gazing at shoes. It kind of has a kind of a instrumental hit before kind of dropping out again to kind of a more ethereal instrumental quality.
Mm-hmm. That's all I had for the first one. It's interesting.
I think it's just the mood pretty well in terms of what you're going to see on this album. It's like I said, some of the more ethereal elements. It has kind of a little mellow closer, but also has some hard hitting, production behind it. So kind of touches all the bases of what you're going to be getting into this album. But we'll get to the first song, or the second song of the album.
First song, hold on.
Track number 2, Killing Time. which starts with a little bit of a funky bass guitar in the background, which wasn't on the previous song.
Yeah, and for some reason the beat on this one at the start is so familiar. Something very similar has been played in the past.
I thought the exact same thing, but I also could not place it.
My internal bank of music isn't as close to that, or isn't as in tune as I would like.
So I can't quite place it, but it's got definitely a bit of maybe a 70s Bee Gees kind of throwback vibe to it on the
Maybe,
instrumental
yeah.
vibe. Certainly a little more laid back, a little more synth heavy, but kind of vibing forward.
And then we get some nice warbling back and forth in the bass, a la King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, and then some nice Pac-Man sounds around the 55-second mark.
Yeah, a little, I think that's part of the synth production, a little bit of the leap and loops.
Yeah, I was a big fan of the background noises. Quite good. And, you know, Pac-Man's always, I don't know, it's always felt musical. Like, the Pac-Man music never gets enough credit.
He's a classic. That's why Gorillaz made a song about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then actually about halfway through the song, around the 2 minute mark, is when it starts to bust open a little more instrumentally. Kind of get some guitar distortion going in. It's kind of like a guitar / keyboard duet going on. Really picks up the energy in the back half.
Yeah. Around the 250-ish mark, there's the stacked to the roof vocal lines, except one. Usually when I say that, I mean it's sung. This is not sung. This is just spoken.
It's like spoken word, yeah.
It provides interesting artistic contrast to the bouncy backing track, but I really do not like how it sounds.
I like it. It's kind of like you use the word trance earlier, so I'm borrowing it. It's almost kind of this hypnotic element of like spoken word distorted underneath, like pretty heavy but lush instrumentation that's kind of above it. Like you can't even understand what's being said as much as kind of like vibing with it. And it kind of breaks open at the end as the synth kind of goes through.
Yeah, I don't know. Her singing is good. These spoken parts, I really dislike it. I don't know.
Fair enough. They don't show up too much throughout the album.
No. But the few times they do, they're definitely the worst.
Don't you ever speak to Sam. Only respond to Sam in vocals.
Yeah, exactly. Only sing to me.
Walking to Sam's house is like walking to a Disney musical.
God, that would be horrible. I want my songs to be musical, and I want life to be talking. I don't want to don't mix the two.
Coming from a man who hates musicals.
No, you say that, but I think I hate bad musicals.
Okay, name one good musical.
Cats.
You like Cats?
Yeah, Cats is great.
You're just saying that because you like cats now. Like the animal.
No. The musical was great when we watched the old one. Remember?
That's true. I did like the show production. The movie was something else.
I'm not talking about the movie. I'm just talking about the music. And then I quite like War of the Worlds.
That's a musical?
Yeah.
There's a musical version of that?
Oh yeah, it's great. It's from the 70s and it's funk.
Oh yeah, you showed me that.
Yeah. Love that.
Okay, that one I can't agree on, but
what else? Wicked was really good when I saw it.
Oh, Wicked was good.
The movie looks terrible, but the production I saw was quite good. I saw, what was it? It was like Tennessee or something on Broadway as well. I didn't like that one, but that was just because it was boring, not because it was bad. But I think I think my disdain for musicals comes from Les Mis.
Because I've never seen that, so
really don't like Les Mis.
I've heard it's rather divisive.
Yeah.
Or divisive.
I'm probably gonna get some flack for that, but I do not like it. And then the other thing I don't like about musicals is when there's no talking, it's all singing. which is something Lena's also does.
That's true. Assuming you weren't much of a fan of Hamilton.
Yeah, no,
which is mostly spoken word.
I don't like Hamilton either.
All right, you want to go on to track number 3?
Yes, well, an interlude.
Track number 3, True Blue Interlude. Pretty bold to put an interlude 3 songs deep, but
yeah, for real.
And it really is an interlude. It's like kind of like a okay, it's got a little spoken word element.
Yeah,
it's almost like she's talking to like an audience. It's got like a new age feel good video feel to it.
Yeah,
I do like the nice little piano backing.
Yeah, I mean that was pretty much a constant. The backing tracks I was a big fan of in this and throughout the album. The vocal parts, not as much.
I like Mika's vocals. I can understand not being a big fan because of her typical kind of a typically breathy delivery, but I think it vibes very well with production. But we'll go past this one since it's really just an interlude and go into track number 4 here.
It's got
Image. Which starts with some head bobbing energy. Yeah, like that drum loop on the back is, very, very tight.
Yeah, this was one I felt was more trance. It's got an interesting main synth line. And I do like the vocal performance in this one quite a bit more.
It's also got a catchy as heck chorus, where like a theremin comes in, or at least a synth imitating like a theremin.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
I guess maybe theremin's not the right word. It does that very high pitched kind of synthy wobble in the back, which is just a great use of synth throughout this album.
Yes,
all together.
Yeah, it's quite good. And then around the 250 mark, the really hard bass coming in. That sound was right up my alley.
Oh yeah, this song has a great production. It's just like this real deep, like vibrating bass. It's like the chorus kind of does its last loop. Really has a nice crescendo to the song.
Yeah, this one I like this one quite a bit more. I found I like the album the later into it we get. The first couple.
Yeah, I think this album builds really well. Not even just like within own songs, but just as like an album itself. Yeah, Image is a real good one.
Jumping to track number 5, if you're ready, Coop.
Yeah, track number 5, Death and Romance.
I believe it's pronounced Death ampersand Romance.
Okay, I'm not saying ampersand. Oh, I just did. Who's the guy who invented the ampersand?
I don't know. Probably Harvey J. Ampersand.
Just use the word and. Come on. No, but this one starts with like a kind of a piano focused instrumental before going to kind of a very danceable beat. Yeah, I'd say this song's at least danceable.
It's maybe it has that really bubbly bass that's kind of like right at the edge of your range of being able to hear it, but they only throw it in like right at the start. I feel like I could dance more if that was throughout the song.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the cha-cha slide, right? It's not telling you what to do, but
yeah.
You're on the dance floor, this came on, it wouldn't be out of place.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of do need things that tell you what to do when dancing, but...
Huh?
What?
What was that?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I'm going on with the song.
The synths
I quite like...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say the same thing. The synths kind of like going on through the back and kind of whirling throughout as the song goes on. It is really nice as well.
Yeah, they're just flying all over the place. Kind of has a spacey feel to it. A space feel vibe.
Yeah, this whole album kind of rides the edge of kind of a spacey vibe, but I think that's probably just a symptom of synth pop in general.
Yeah,
kind of always having that almost new age synth feel. I guess you can blame ELO for that eternal kind of connection.
Well, you say that. There's a track later on that I was like, ooh, this is they're pretty good. They're pretty ELO-y.
Yeah. And this song has a kind of a nice mellow synth play out that leads into the next song. Actually, the next few songs do that, which I quite like.
They have rollover, which is always welcome.
Which kind of helps you keep within the mood of the song, which goes into track number 6 here, Fear, comma, Sex.
Thank you for saying the comma.
Yes, just want to make sure. I could have just paused, but caught me on the ampersand already, so I don't want to risk it. Um, which is a little bit more of a mellow song. It kind of takes that lead out from the last song and it kind of extends it out. It's almost like an extended outro of Death and Romance.
Yeah, and the chorus on this one's interesting because it's got like white noise as an instrument, different pitches of white noise, and then really heavy synth. And again, this one reminds me of something I just can't quite put my finger on.
Yeah, this one is very, I'd call almost like pull it from like old school Britney almost, like in terms of
Maybe that's what it is.
like DNA. I mean, obviously it's a lot more mellow than maybe some of your more higher energy 90s songs, but I know that this one does kind of have that kind of 90s DNA going throughout it. I think part of it's coming just from Mika's vocal delivery as well.
Mm-hmm.
Very kind of a Britney toxic vibe on it.
And it continues with the space vibes, especially for the outro of this one.
Oh yeah, it's got this almost like metallic, robotic kind of backing going on.
Mm-hmm.
But like the vocals and the synth kind of help bring in a warmth to it, so it doesn't feel like super sudden.
Jumping to track 7, if you're ready, Coop.
Yeah, track 7, Vampire in the Corner. Which also feeds in from the last song, just to be aware.
Yes. Again with some bloopy backing synth, and then the piano coming in, which was quite unexpected, but fits it very well with the synth.
Yeah, this one brings the energy even farther down. We're kind of hitting like a little bit of an energy valley here in the album.
Mm-hmm.
Where, yeah, the instrumentation is very low key until you hit the chorus, and you get a little bit of mellower piano chords going on in the background. I actually do quite like the vocal on the focus on the vocals here, even if it does start to straddle the edge of being a little breathy.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that breakdown at the 125 mark. The spoken word with minimally sung vocals was just not good, in my opinion. Like, for me, it was like, the bathtub curve.
The bathtub curve?
Yeah, it's like fine, just flip a bell curve.
Okay.
That was my enjoyment of the song.
You didn't like the middle part with the spoken word?
The middle part was really bad. But then it got me back. The bass synth starts around the 215 mark and it comes back to being an amazing song again. But that middle part was like, ooh, wow, this got really bad. Oh, it's back.
Oh, yeah, the ending definitely pays it all off.
Yeah.
The percussion comes in, the synth starts bubbling in, and then the end of the song's real energetic, actually. It's a masterclass in bringing energy down and bringing it back up.
Mm-hmm.
No way that doesn't feel jarring.
Masterclass in making a good song into a bad song and back into a good song.
Hey, it makes you appreciate what you had.
Yeah, sure, Cooper.
That's why every now and then I just don't drink water for a couple days. So when I do drink water, I feel really good about it.
Yeah. What are you, fucking Mad Max? Jumping to track number 8.
Yes, track number 8, Watching TV.
It's T.V.
Okay, no. We're saying the dots and acronyms now?
No.
T, pause. V, pause.
I will say, at this point, I was like, the vocals are starting to blur a little bit. Every song is quite different, but when the backing tracks are mainly noise, it's hard to separate them mentally.
Well, I would not call the backing tracks noise.
There's a lot of
They have pretty. Oh, yeah, okay. Sound is noise. Okay, that's music.
Her vocal deliveries as well are kind of samey.
I mean, okay, that one I can agree with, but I said the instrumentals are pretty distinct. I mean, this one's got it goes back to the glitchy, but it starts to bring in some orchestral elements, which have not appeared on the album at all yet. It kind of picks up the drama of the song. Almost like a bell, ringing in the back.
I didn't catch on that. I did catch the synth string duet at the 3-minute mark. That was very good. The outro of this song is strong.
Oh, yeah.
I just do not like the first 2 minutes.
Look, you gotta appreciate the build-up, Sam.
Okay.
You can't have dessert all the time. You got to eat your vegetables and have the desserts. The buildup.
Speaking of vegetables, you're jumping to track number 9.
Yeah, track number 9, Tunnel Vision.
Um, this one is super bare bones to start with. The vocals sound identical to the rest of the tracks, and it's a 5-minute song.
Oh yeah, it's one of the longer songs of the album at about 5 minutes.
And it doesn't really start to fill out the backing track until like the 2-minute 20 mark.
Oh no, I mean, yeah, it starts to hit, but no, it hits at like the 1 minute mark where like there's a build up, then a drop out before we have like kind of the, like I said, the 2 minute kind of mark chorus breakdown. Even has a, I would say, almost like a kind of a hip hop infusion with some of those like drum pad beats going on, pulling DNA from a couple places here.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. Then it kind of goes to noise at the 320 mark. It was interesting noise. I'll give it that. But I'm not vibing with this track.
Yeah, it kind of goes into like a kind of a roaring guitar, kind of electronica vibe going on, which this is probably the most drawing point of the album where it does it. It almost has this kind of like an alien like spaceship shutting down or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan.
I'm quite a fan of kind of these emotional breakpoints on songs, and they kind of go all out. Wall of sound.
Yeah, I don't like shoegaze, so.
And yet you wear shoes every day. Curious.
Jumping to track number 10, if you're ready, Coop.
Track number 10, Love is Everywhere, which is a bop.
Yeah, I was really distracted by the Danny Elfman ass Willy Wonka Oompa Loompa vocal at the 130 mark.
The Oompa Loompa.
Listen to it and tell me you don't hear it.
At the 130 mark, let me just. I mean, there's kind of like a bassy vocal delivery that's paired with Mika's delivery.
The pitch down vocal delivery that sounds exactly like the Oompa Loompa delivery from Tim Burton.
Okay, that's a you problem, not a this song's
problem. This is a thing that exists.
Okay, people having pitched down vocals in songs existed before Danny Elfman's score of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
But it sounds so identical to it is my issue.
Well, disregarding that, this song is mighty groovy, and it's got some next level instrumentation in the back.
Got some nice harp.
Like that main chorus. Ooh, yes. The strings come back on. You have some violin flourishes. The production here is top notch.
Yeah. And we get the stacked vocal outro that's actually singing, something I quite enjoy.
Yeah, it switches up the kind of the vocals a little bit. Hey, man, yeah, this is a good song.
Yeah, it is quite good, aside from the Willy Wonka callback. Jumping to track 11, if you're ready.
Track 11, Feeling Disk Inserted, which is really just a like little minute interlude, same as like True Blue from earlier in the album.
Yeah, what's with the Apple ringtone to start each of the intermission tracks?
I don't know, maybe like a you're calling someone kind of vibe. I mean, there's not much of an overall message on this song or this album, at least that I caught. But maybe just kind of like a little bit of a nostalgic callback. It does have a little bit of a vocal leaf motif from like She Looked Like Me, so it kind of has some nice connective tissue from throughout the album. But it's only like a minute long, so there's really not much to talk about.
Just kind of a flash in the pan.
It's an interlude.
Yes. Jumping to track 12, if you're ready.
Yes, track 12. That's My Floor.
Again, just the synth is just killing it the whole time. We get an amazing solo around the 1 minute mark. And the first minute of the song I didn't vibe with. So I was like, why? How can songs have so many elements of things I love and I'm not getting it?
I mean, I really like the beginning of this song. That super chunky bass paired with that kind of bloopy synth.
See, I didn't like it for the first minute, but after that 1 minute mark, I was hooked. Because then you come in with the catchy beat and the heavy guitar riffs.
Oh yeah, super like in your face synth solo. There's nothing subtle with that synth, which I love.
It is quite a good song. The first minute left a bad taste in my mouth, but after that, I was on board. I got it.
Yeah, I quite like this song. It's a little chaotic, especially in the back. But it's just like all this, like the instruments building, like that guitar, just like completely chunking it through. Um, yeah, no, I quite like this song as well.
Yeah.
It's a very nice build.
Yeah. This one has a good build. Jumping to track 13, if you're ready to.
Yes, track number 13, Cry For Me. Which I'm not sure if you got this, but I was getting kind of like almost like an ABBA vibe on the dance or on the instrumentation here.
I wasn't getting that. It was I was getting more ELO because of the electronic and the strings.
Okay, so maybe we're pulling from in similar places here of
Yeah.
kind of having that homage to like the 70s, 80s dance music.
The intro on this one slaps.
Yes, 100%. The strings paired with the synths and the guitar. Whew.
And then we get some like they used a static noise around the 150 mark that I'm pretty sure was used in the Spore space stage.
Okay, where are you? what? Where's your brain getting these things?
Listen, my brain records every single sound I've ever heard, and then I don't have room in there for anything else.
Then you just push out things like your social security number.
Yep. I don't
make room for that.
I don't remember my father's face, but I can tell you exactly what the chord progression is in this one song.
Yeah, no, this one's a little bit of an odyssey. Starts with that kind of, ABBA ELO star, and then at like the 2 minute mark, it kind of breaks down to kind of a spacey, synthy interlude.
Yeah, with some grand piano in there, and I think it sounds quite a bit brighter as well.
Oh yeah, it's a pretty bright piano. I quite like it. And then it kind of goes back into the vocals that totally pop off, I think, in this song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It is a very good song. I'm not a big fan of the screamed vocals in the background at the end. I will say that.
Yeah, they get a little energetic. I will agree. I'm not a super big fan of that. Maybe a little too abrasive, but
Yeah,
especially since it kind of mellows down right after that. So it's pretty drastic energy drop off.
Yeah, it was a bit much.
Which makes sense given this next song's a lot more low key.
Yes. Track number 14.
14. Angel on a Satellite. Which is like this kind of it's a bit of it's like a desolate soft piano ballad start.
You're forgetting the bongos.
Oh, okay. The very beginning. Once the instrumentation gets it stops being that.
Yeah, bongos and acoustic guitar and piano. Did not expect those to go as well together as they did, but yeah, it was good.
And it also has some nice violin at her. Some good eyeing in the background. Very heavenly vocal performance. Feels like a proper kind of penultimate track.
Yeah, this was like, okay, so she can do different vocal performances, so why the heck have they all been the same up till now? Because I really like how she sings on this song. I like it probably more than the rest of them.
There's definitely a lot less breathy, a little more forward in terms of his vocal delivery.
Yeah. I really enjoy her vocal styling on this one. And then some, we get some lovely strings in there. A vocal melody that sounds so familiar. I can't quite put my finger on it though. Something from the Naughties, I think.
The Naughties?
Yeah, the 2000s.
Are you British?
No, that's you got the 80s, the 70s, 80s, 90s.
No.
Naughties.
I always associate that as a more British term for it.
Really?
As opposed to saying the 2000s.
Well.
Like you don't catch too many people walking around here saying the naughties.
I think it
I've heard it,
flows.
but it's predominantly from the British.
What are we gonna say for 2010s?
Uh,
The tens.
I don't know. You can't say the tens. That doesn't feel right though.
It
Like
does
20s,
not.
30s, they all end with the e's. The tinnies doesn't really work.
Then we'll get to the 20s and everything will make sense again.
We're in the 20s.
Yeah.
So there we go.
I feel like you refer to it more once you leave it, though.
That's true. Yeah. I was gonna say, hey, you guys remember the 20s? What, like 1920s? No, like last year.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
But
you were born in the late 1900s, Cooper.
huh? Well, yeah, I guess. You phrase it that way. I thought we agreed that I was born in the mid 1800s.
Oh, right. Sorry. You showing your age a little bit there. Can't bring
They found me in a crater.
The early 1700s.
They found me in a crater where a meteorite struck. Oh, but going on to the last song of the album.
Yes.
Track number 15, The Ballad of Matt and Mika.
Well, real quick, I want to mention the rain outro for Angel on a Satellite.
Oh, yes.
Which was really nice. And then it was only made a bit weird by the janky noises from janky physics objects colliding. For some reason, they decided to include that as well. But yes, Ballad of Matt and Mika. Or Micah,
a song of the album, which is a nice little. It just feels like an outro song. It's got kind of that kind of energy of like the credits are playing. You know, it's a nice little breakdown to end out the album on.
Yeah, everything up to the outro I wasn't quite vibing with. Didn't quite like the melody. It was like trying to be bright and dark at the same time, which I didn't quite like. I would get a sick ass bass synth at the 1 minute mark, which I love, but the rest of it just I don't know. I'm not picking up what it's putting down.
Oh, I'm really picking up what it's putting down. It's like a warp speed. Everything kind of blows out a little bit in terms of instrumentation, with the synth kind of being the through line of it. Like I said, it's got a little bit of darkness in there, but it's also a lot of happiness, and they're bringing it back to like the bang bang refrain from the "Love Is Everywhere" and "She Looked Like Me."
Mm-hmm.
Thematic leitmotifs, song structure, album structure, hitting the boxes, and then has kind of a nice, kind of a mellow synth and horn outro.
Yes, I love the outro quite a lot, but the rest of the song, not so much.
Sam, I just can't agree with you.
Well, everybody's different.
It's true. You are a little different.
Some people are right and some people are wrong, and it's okay to be wrong, Cooper.
Well, some of us think about normal things. Some of us are just thinking about Danny Elfman soundtracks.
It is that time of year.
I assume every day.
Hey,
it is.
It is that time of year. It's Danny Elfman season.
Yes, when Sam goes into his sensory deprivation chamber, just starts blasting some Oingo Boingo.
Yeah, it's.
But yeah,
some of his lyrics have aged oddly. Didn't he get accused of sexual assault?
Yeah, he did. So don't take that from the guy.
There's an Oompa Loompa song in there somewhere.
You know what? I'm thinking of the lyrics right now. I'm not saying that on stream. That is not something you ad lib.
Dextral
No. Come on, Danny, just don't do that.
It's like the Futurama sketch where they just change a letter or two.
Doopity diarrhea. It's the Chumbawambas. Now, no, that's the end of the album.
That's the album.
So now we're gonna say our favorite and least favorite song. Yes. So let's start with our least favorite, Sam. Okay. What's your least favorite?
True Blue Interlude. Although that doesn't really count as a song.
That is also my least favorite.
Yeah, it was not good. It's also track number 3. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Look really for an interlude.
The other actual song would be Tunnel Vision. I really did not like that one.
I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but I didn't have any quorums with tunnel vision, but fair enough. My least favorite is definitely True Blue. I don't feel like it adds too much to the album, at
Yeah.
least at the point it's placed.
Yeah, you need. I would say one interlude. Yeah, sure. It's a long album. First interlude after what was it, 7 minutes? Yeah, no, don't. What are you doing? Don't do that.
Oh, then what's your favorite song, Sam?
Favorite song I would have to say is probably "Cry for Me." That
Okay,
that
okay.
one was very good throughout. I liked the whole thing, other than the screaming vocals at the end, but that's quite a minor complaint. Second favorite would be "That's My Floor."
Ooh, yes, that's my floor. I really enjoyed. I'd also give a shout out to Love Is Everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was quite a big fan of that song as well. Those are probably my two favorite.
Which is your most favorite between the two, though?
Eh, maybe Love Is Everywhere. I've
Yeah.
listened to that one the most. But yeah, so we've reviewed the songs, we gave our favorite and least favorites. Now we got to go on to rating. I believe it's your turn to rate it this time, Sam.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I don't remember. So here at the Audio Shop podcast, we are themed around cars. Because cumulatively, Cooper and I actually build every single car that's sold in the world. That's part of why we've not done any audio shops recently. Is we've had a bit of a backlog, um, and so we had to catch up. You know how cars are, like the new pickups are like $80,000. That's because we can only put out about 2 a week. So demand's high and production is quite low. But we took some weeks off. We're getting through the backlog. We managed to get an extra 15 cars produced, so hopefully that'll help drive the price down a little bit. But anyway, at the tip top, we got cream of the crop, 5 out of 5, best of the best showroom, and then very bottom we got 1 out of 5 scrapyard. Ooh, yuck! Get it away from me. This is actively killing me. So Cooper, what would you rate this album?
I think it's pretty obvious that I quite enjoy this album. Maybe occasional hiccup here or there, but overall, I mean, the per song production, the overall album flow, the absolute, bops that every single song kind of presents on this album, I got to go ahead and give it a showroom.
Wow.
Um, I think it's a great release, one of my favorites of the year, and I see myself coming back to it again and again. So I'm quite a big fan of this one. I think Magdalena Bay is 2 for 2 so far. What
Wow.
about you, Sam?
I would have to give it a low fixer upper.
Oh, Sam, you sounded so much more positive in your reviews than that.
Um, I tried to be positive, is what it was.
What was bringing it down? Was it the vocals?
I wasn't the biggest fan of vocals. I I don't know. I just didn't vibe with it all that much. It had a lot of elements that I liked individually, but it was just once you combined them together, I didn't like it. I don't know why. I can't tell you. I didn't like it. I wish I did.
That's right. I guess it's all subjection.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all. We can't force anyone to like things that are good. So you're allowed to have your opinion. But as for me, I quite enjoyed this.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't a fan.
Here, listen to it a couple dozen more times.
No.
Get back to me. Let me know what you think.
No. It's the highs were medium highs, but for me the lows were really low.
Yeah, but the production,
I
the
don't
lows are not.
listen. Morbius had high production too, but you don't see people raving about that.
Morbius did not have high production. Just because Jared Leto turned into a swarm of bats doesn't mean that's high production.
Didn't you see him morb all over that guy? That production value was quite high.
It did cost hundreds of millions of dollars, so, or at least tens of millions.
It's not trying to compare this album to Morbius. I think it's quite better, much better than Morbius, but just making an extreme comparison.
But to each their own.
But yeah, that's the album. Now we're gonna roll on over to the spare tire, which is just whatever else we've been listening to. And it's been a while. So
What
have you been
have I
listening
been
to, Coop?
listening to? Let me pull up my list. Let's see. Quite a good few uh good albums came out. Um, Jerry Paper released a new album that I quite liked. Uh, Jordy Grep released Black Midi fame released a new album that I really liked. The New Sound, that was quite good. Coldplay released a new album which was mid per usual of the last like 5 albums they released. I'll just have to get over the fact that they probably won't release another good album again, but that's life.
Yeah.
Um, let's see what else did I listen to. I've been listening to a lot of John Waits. Um,
Who's
I'm
he?
not sure if you listen to much John Waits.
No.
Um, I don't think you'd like him, but he's growing on me. He's got a very gravelly, low vocal styling, like really low, um, and a kind of pretty theatrical vocal performance. Like that kind of has some like indie, well, not indie, but maybe more acoustic singer songwriter, and brings in some like I don't know, jazz elements as well. Um, I've been working through some of his discography, and I think it's pretty interesting.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, what about you, Sam?
I've been listening to some Anna music stuff.
Sorry, Anna music.
Anna music.
What's Anna music? Is that like Animorphs?
No, I've shown it to you, right? It's
Ooh.
remember the one with like it shoots the balls to play the
Oh
music.
yeah. Yeah. Okay.
There's Cathedral Pictures, which is an actual organ concerto. I don't remember the name of. But I've also been listening to a lot of Takanaka still. Over the Garden Wall soundtrack, since it's that time of year. More ELO. And that's really it. I've not been listening to a ton of music recently. And if I do have something on, it's just something familiar.
Let's say with all the stresses of home moving, probably aren't conducive to like discovering new artists. So I don't really blame you.
Yeah, or I'll start some Takanaka, and it'll just start recommending related stuff. And I was like, so I've been listening to things. I don't know what it is. Some of it's good. Some of it I skip. Not all of it's been good enough to save. So that's what I've been listening to.
Oh, nice. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode.
Yeah. So if you've liked what you've heard for some reason and you want to hear some more, where there'll always be episodes available, you can scroll down on the Twitch page to YouTube. Just got to click the picture of Jeff Lynn. He's the guy with the aviators on, and it'll take you to YouTube where most of our previous episodes are. There's a couple missing ones. And if you're watching on YouTube and you would like to hear us live, we're live Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Sometimes. I won't say usually because it's not been usually this year.
Once in a fortnight.
And I would say hopefully we're in for a stretch of good time, but we're coming into the holidays, and that's very busy. So we'll see.
Yeah, so follow us at Audio Shop Pod, that's POD, and we'll let you know what album we're listening to and when we're going to listen to it.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll join us then.
Yeah, and
whatever then may be.
A lot more people have joined Blue Sky now, so they'll actually see that.
So come on in, and hope to see you next time.
Yeah, and also apparently Blue Sky is the most used social media platform in Brazil.
Really?
So maybe we need to learn Portuguese.
That's that's gonna be hard.
Easier said than done. But anyway, that is all, and we will see you next time.
See you later, shoppies.